Hello guys, hope everyone's doing alright. I'm pretty sure the sound is working at the start of this stream. But yeah, so continuing on this guy. As I was saying last night, I wasn't really too happy with the way this guy's going. I am actually, for some reason, this asset's defeating me like really badly. Like I'm kind of struggling with it. So today I'm going to kind of rebuild the Groom based on some new reference. I'm going to not hold on to anything other than some guide work. I'm going to delete basically everything for the Groom, which, funnily enough, is basically the entire streams, apart from the fuzzy boy on the beak and the feet. But yeah, so in terms of where we're up to at the end of the last stream, this is what we got, and I cannot express how uninteresting and boring this looks to me. So naturally, after the stream, I was like, this isn't right, I need to do something. Kind of been playing about with the length, so I've like tried shortening the length, adding some procedural flows and that sort of stuff, but it just doesn't work. And I feel like it's kind of worth throwing it away to some extent at this point. So I'm going to try to basically rebuild the Groom tonight, and then tomorrow I can kind of refine whatever we get to and come up with a slogan and how I'm going to render it, probably relight the scene as well. However, one of my friends from Blue Zoo, he pointed out he's actually got a plushie that might be really good reference, which is this beautiful motherfucker. So I think this could be quite a lot of fun. I'm going to try to go for something kind of like this, see what we get out of it. Granted, the seams will need to be modeled in to the actual base model itself, but I feel like we could get quite far with this type of look. So I'm going to try my best basically to get that working. Let's just get PureRef open. I'm just going to drag that image over. Drag him over there. There we go. So now we got PureRef. But yeah, so it is a relatively high res image. It's not perfect. It's really good for the presentation. Just because it's literally the same kind of lighting thing that I've gone for, just it's at a better angle. So I think this in general is really good reference. So I'm going to base what I do on this tonight. But yeah, so as I said, I'm going to be restarting the Groom, so I guess we should just get started on doing that. I have overridden the length. I quite like the length it's currently at, which is 0.75 of the current guide length, so we do need to do that. But I'm going to go into the outliner, hide both of these, and let's just delete everything. And if it ends up not working, then I guess we'll just kind of kill the project. But yeah, so let's just move him there. So, we do still have the guides. We do need to override the length of all these guys. So let's just go into edit Groom, go to the attribute paint, length. Although attribute paint might not be the way to do this. I do need to kind of adjust the guides around the eyes as well still. But yeah, we'll see what we get out of it. So let's do what we can. I feel like it's equally valuable to kind of stream the projects that I don't like, because at the moment, like, my brain is screaming just to kind of let go of the project because it is just a bi-weekly thing. But I feel like it's just as important to kind of show the struggles, because I know there are people who watch this who kind of want to learn CG and that sort of stuff, and I have been quite fortunate that all the projects I've worked on so far have gone pretty well. So I think it would be unfair to not show the stuff where it doesn't work quite as well. Let's see. Oh, minus 0.25. There we go, something like that. And if we try to just quickly sculpt around the eyes. So I have made the eyes bigger, which means that they no longer fit. Resample. Oh no, it's doing this thing again. Oh yeah, I've got negative strength. so let's move these to the new outlines of the eyes. Why does that keep resetting? Hang on, so get you there, get you there. Get all that in the middle. There we go. So let's kind of respace these guys out. But yeah, so we'll basically just try to like rematch the ref. We'll see what we get out of it. For now, I just need to get the guide sculpted to be a little bit more accurate. So he's gonna need to be pushed like way that way. I just cut him to be roughly the same. There we go. Resample that. Grab you. Probably needs to get rid of. How you want to do this? Hey Yosh, how you doing, dude? Cool, so that will work a little bit better. Cool. Let's get a guide in there. Set him to be conformed. Work break means watch stream time. Nice. Yeah, I need to take a work break soon. I've been doing quite a lot. We've just got a new project confirmed today as well, which I get to do something quite exciting on. Which I'm looking forward to being able to show. I guess I can say what I'm doing, I just can't give away anything about the project. So, for the first time, I'm getting to be a lead of some description on a project. So, I can't remember the exact title, because it kind of keeps changing at the moment while they figure out the project, but I'm getting a chance to do, basically, like, it was creative lead at one point, I think it's more just, like, asset lead. But yeah, looking forward to that. Get to learn some new stuff, train people. Hey Shirley, how you doing, dude? Rip Drinking Sculpt. Yeah, Drinking Sculpt died a little while ago. I was getting too many questions. I genuinely got a few messages like, hey, you okay? I keep seeing the title Drinking Sculpt. I'm like, I'm not drinking most of the time. Granted, I do want to drink and stream again at some point, because it was actually quite a lot of fun. But just not... I don't want to call every stream I do Drink and Sculpt, because that gives off completely the wrong vibes. Right, so we got that. So now we need to start getting the actual groom in there. So we just need to go in. Hide this for now. Actually, while we're at it, let's delete these guys. We'll keep... Oh, density's fucked. Alright, we'll have to repaint that too. So remove, yes. Remove, yes. And remove, yes. I wonder if you can actually remove the length attribute. No idea what would happen. No, didn't delete these guys. There we go. So, we've got our import geo, our import groom, which is somehow disabled. So let's just quickly grab these guys. Cool. So we also need to comb. It'd be funny if you got drunk and singing during streaming instead of talking about grooming. Yeah, I mean, there would be a temptation, although I do fear that, like, you know, me starting to sing mid-stream would be pretty bad. Right, so, one of the key things about these references is that the kind of swirly nature they have. There's kind of like, you know, changes of direction pretty much everywhere. Rather than try to groom that by... doing a shit ton of guide work, which, you know, is how you'd want to do it for proper production. But for the sake of an asset like this, it's not really worth doing because it's a quick turnaround. I mean, hell, I've literally now only got 2 evenings to do all the grooming in. Essentially 1 day of like actual work time. So I don't have time to go and add all these procedural changes, all these different changes of direction. However, I did accidentally give away there what I'm going to do, which is procedural direction variation. So, I'm basically going to make guides out of the groom. The way that you can do that is basically just groom as usual. Just get it to a point where it's the way you'd want your guides to be in terms of density. So something like this. Then I like to merge that with the existing guides. So let's just quickly merge that. And the reason I like to do that is so that I don't lose any information around things like the eyes. So I'm just going to convert. That is set up correctly. You just need to do this. So that's basically just gone in and made it so that I have my my procedural guides and my hand-placed ones, which is helpful for areas around the eyes and that sort of stuff. You could argue that it's worth going in and what's the word I'm looking for right now? You could argue it's worth going in and painting a density map so that they don't overlap, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter. So I've got something like this. Let's just throw on another couple iterations, just so it's like super uniform. I guess the more we do, the smoother it's going to get. But something like that is more than good enough. So we've got this. Now I'm just going to go in and add... in fact, let's do that here. Let's add a scraggle. So the reason I'm not adding it to everything is because I guess the guides around the eyes, I really don't want that scraggle. I could map that. In fact, yeah, I'll do that instead. But basically the plan is to convert this to hair, add scraggle to get like all sorts of random shit going on. Granted, not this crazy. But if we just go in and basically set something to get quite a lot of scraggle, it'll give us... oh, you should make a speed sculpt from 0 and we all get a couple of drinks watching the stream, quarantine hangout. Yeah, I mean, it would be good to do some more sculpting, I think. I think the next mini project I'm going to do will just be a sculpting project like the Monster one was. No R&D, no groom or anything like that. But yeah, so let's get in, set this to parameter, set you to 0.75, something like that. And then let's get some scraggle random. 1. Let's multiply by length actually. Cool, so we can get... Cool. And then I guess this comb as well. It'd be good to get some spread. So that's going to vary it even more. If I set that to full, like, you're just going to get random direction everywhere, which I don't want, but I can play about with that. The scraggle's more to get like flowy shapes, and this comb is to get like change the direction like completely. So let's set distribution to uniform. And then the problem with uniform is that it basically just means that every hair gets the exact same scraggle. However, if you go into scraggle shift and give this a value, you can see how all of them are moving, but they're all still doing the same exact shape. So what you can do is plug in the position of the object, which I guess... How did I do this the other day? Because I did it a few days ago. Well, actually, I did it on the... I'll just copy paste it from here. The question is, where was it? Wait, where did I do it? Okay, I didn't do it in there apparently. Oh no, it's a scraggle here. There we go. So we can just plug a noise into that. And that will give us a random variation, basically. So. So this is the amount of variation, and this is the frequency of the variation. So as I increase this number, you see that the hairs are getting more random, like from hair to hair. So let's go about 5 maybe. And how random do we want it to be? Not that random. Something like that could do. So then, we're just going to convert this back into strands. What happened there? There we go. Cool. So now we can create this again. Plug that in. Now we have our procedural guide work. So we got all these flow shapes. So I can just go into here, set this to 0, massively increase this guy. Maybe not that much. I hate that. There we go. And let's just quickly throw a width onto that guy. There's definitely a bit too much chaos on this guy, I think. Oh, and I also need to... There we go. Yeah, there we go. So all that variation is just coming from this guy. So that's like our guides completely untouched. That's with this added kind of direction variation. And you notice that the eyes aren't getting affected as much because we're just merging the existing guides in here. So this is kind of unaffected. So we can find an amount of variation we want, and once we've got that, we can turn the scraggle on, and that just adds an extra level of kink that will kind of vary the silhouette a bit more as well. And the overall frequency of this is controlled by this. So if I add U, we get more variation. So yeah, it's kind of cool little feature. So one of the issues we're going to get is this Scraggle is going to push some hair back towards the surface, which is doing quite a lot actually. Maybe we need to turn off maintain length for that to work properly. Yeah, it seems to be pulling most of the hair back. What if we turned on root but not tip? No, because that's just gonna be awful. This is struggling a bit. What if I replace it with one? Wait, was that affecting per vertex? It's kind of cool if it does, but also really annoying. Yeah, so we want these guides to be standing out a little bit more. So for now, let's do it in here. And then let's just get back into here. There we go. So there's our hair working. Getting some general variation out of it. So what I need to do now is check if these areas are working well enough. Technically I should stand up all the guides, so let's do that instead, rather than set comb weight lower. Let's just turn this off. I'm going to mask out the guides around the eyes. So edit groom, tool settings. Need to mask these guys. Invert that. Oh wait, I need to make sure we get the ones inside the eyes too. Have you ever tried Houdini for grooming? Yes, once. And I didn't really spend long enough with it to get like a proper gauge for how it is. That being said, it was very good. It's something I do intend on at some point on using a bit more. Works. Cool. Maybe a little bit more. No, it's too up and end. That'll work well enough. So back into the graph editor. Maybe this area is stood up too much. Yeah, we need to add another guide here, because that's getting a bit mixed up. So, edit groom, perform new strands, good. So, we need to get the length from you. So I'm just going to call that 0.1. Oh wait, no, I actually do need to get the proper value from that. Cool. And let's just quickly fix the shape of this guy. Cool. Let's copy that length. There we go. Yeah, I've watched that tutorial. Kristen's actually really, really nice. I used to go to the pub with her in London. There's a point when she was going to join NPC, and she ended up going to DNEG instead, but that's kind of when we all got in touch. But yeah, her tutorial is really good. I was watching a bit of it not too long ago. She's also got a really cool guitar. There's a time we went to jam in Regent's Park, so I took my acoustic and she didn't have an acoustic, so she took a 7-string Les Paul, and it was hilarious. It did play pretty nice, actually. Right, so that's the clumping. Cool, so that's where I need to make sure I don't go into autopilot, because that's what the problem with the previous screen was. So we want these hairs to be roughly as dense as these clumps, and then we'll match the shape bit by bit. So let's look at the hand for the main bit ref. They're definitely quite uniform, so let's add a little bit of uniformity. Remove a 0 from there. That's definitely too little. I feel like I need a few more uniform steps actually. It's struggling with this patch for some reason. So let's clump these together. We'll need to override the density in this guy, so let's lock density. Okay. So we need these clumps to be pretty open towards the tip. You definitely don't want to do that. 0. Set you to 0 as well. Get a little bit of variation in this guy. I hate that. Who is Rebecca? Rebecca is the person in the comments, Rebecca Blair, my girlfriend. Let's add the parameter 1. So I'm going to multiply this with a curve. Curve strand U 0, 0, 3, 0.2, 1, 3. Multiply by length. That just takes the scraggle off the absolute root, while still allowing me to have root scraggle enabled. This feels a bit more natural. So let's add a little bit of scraggle around them. So, is this set to render at high density? It is. The render width is set lower as well. Okay. So, is this doing a shape that I want? I'm not sure yet. Let's do a render test. How first? I will hide the knife actually. give it a moment to do its thing. Might be stuck. Let it do its thing for a bit. Come on, start your render. Okay, let's just hide that. Then update full scene. Actually, let's quickly store snapshot. I'll update full scene. Then I'll fix the lighting as well. So currently there's no length variation, no scraggle, it's purely guide variation and clumping that's driving this right now. So let's see what it's looking like. I feel like I need a bit more density. Yeah, definitely need more density. For the most part, these just need kind of chunking up a bit. And the root needs more coverage, which we could get via that kind of noise that breaks us up. Then we'll need to get in and add some noise to break up the clumps. Like, as in, like, a noise that kind of reduces the effect of clumping. Just trying to test out different areas, see what's working, see what's not. Yeah, it already feels better than yesterday's Grim. So that's a good sign. Obviously still not right, but it's better. So, get you back on the other screen. Get you. Let's double the scatter. The reason I'm doing it in viewport and not the render is because I do need to see a little bit more detail on the clumps. If that's okay with Mike. I'll watch it together on stream. I think that would be breaking some copyright rules if I put that on a stream. Let's just quickly throw in a shader node. Shader. Nope. Okay. So let's get a scraggle in there. And we need to look into the amount of CVs we have. I think the default is too high. Let's reduce that to 6 on the clumps. And we'll add 2 more on this. Cool. So now it's Scraggle. This is our very subtle frizz. So this noise only exists to break up each hair. We do add a random to that. Maybe a little bit more frequency. It's enough to maintain length. Mike, will you be aiming for Mike, will you be aiming for Fresnel Sheen from the Auto Plush? I'm not sure if I have time to be honest. I can give it a go, but there's a lot to do in the meantime. We'll see. We'll see what comes out of it. I'm just trying to look for the clearest bit in this guy. So more root coverage was the other thing we needed, right? Which I can do with an undercoat, which technically these guys don't really have, but at the same time, does it really matter? You can argue they do because of length variation and shit, but maybe the yeah, fuck it, let's just add that undercoat. So grab you. So, the width from this guy, I'm going to half it. Then the grow, I'm going to add a lot more length variation and overall multiply the length down. That's because this groom only is needed for the root. So let's add a Scraggle to that. Multiply this by length. Basically, when we merge these together, it means we have the actual main coat of fur and this extra layer below, which actually the width needs to go up again. So yeah, we get actually a little layer of fur below. I will continue to lower that length though. Cool. So now let's try rendering that. Why is Leo crying? Did I say anything wrong? No? I don't think so. No, you didn't say anything wrong at all. Hey Aaron, how you doing, man? Okay, so update full scene. So that's feeling a lot better. I'll need to reduce clumping around the eyes. I think Becca might be lurking, I don't know. I think she's in the shower at the moment. Oh no, there she is. Alright, no. How did I misread that to that level? Okay, so this is starting to get that kind of fleecy feel to it. Almost like a woolly. We do need to get some length variation there now. Kind of break up these a little bit. Just test out a few different areas. Still not really keen on this area. Let's see what the top looks like. Okay, so now's where we start testing out the breakup, like how we're going to approach it. So, first thing, it's kind of obvious, we need a little bit of length variation. And we do want some strays as well, which I'm going to do as yet another completely separate branch. Cool, so this guy is an even less dense version. So let's go 1 and delete that. Cool. And then I'm just going to add a transform. I also need to lock this so he doesn't get made bigger. Multiply, well, I can just do hash. Hash ID. Then let's just do +1. So 1 plus. Am I not viewing it? No, I'm not viewing it. There we go. So if you're wondering what this is doing, basically, so this is the scale of the object, and then it's adding hash ID. Hash ID generates a number between 0 and 1, which is random per hair. The reason I'm adding it to 1 is because if I just put hash ID, some hairs will get scaled to 0, and the longest hairs will get scaled to 1. However, I want the shortest hairs to be 0, and the longest hairs to be double that length. So if I do this, if the hash generates a 0, the result is 1. If the hash generates a 1, the result is 2. I can add more or less variation by just putting this in a set of brackets and multiplying it by whatever number I want. So if I wanted more variation, I could do that. And that will make the longest hairs even longer still. Okay. That would make the longest hairs even longer. Send crash report, why not? So, let's get that open again. Really hope he won't kill the project. We need a HD meme. I mean, I'll probably kill the project because I've only got 2 days left. Friday's the deadline, and Thursday night I'm mentoring for Bournemouth University. So, and tomorrow I've got a meeting with some clients for freelance. So I'm very busy at the moment. Let's open this up. Cool. So close you. So let's try that exact same thing. Multiply by 2. There we go. Work this time. Weird. But yeah, so this is now just controlling the amount of variation I get. If I want half the amount of variation, I just do that. And yeah, if I just remove that entirely and set this whole thing to 1, that's the actual length. Yeah, there we go. So I can use that to get some more variation. And we're just going to merge that back in. Let's create yet another merge, which is this guy right here. Now we've got these extra long hairs poking out. So the width is something we need to change as well, because it does need to get very slightly more tapered, I think. But what we can do is just maybe 0.5, but then increase the base parameter. So let's do 0.5, 0.5. Do the same. This is just a clump, so it doesn't matter. And these guys don't matter either, because there's an undercoat. Cool. So now what if I go into this and just add flyaway? So if I set this to like 100 or 1, what does that do? Let's see what how that renders. Oh wait, I just alt saved a fucking crash file. So let's see what that does if I set you to 100%. Oh yeah, of course you're going to be. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of ugly. I mean, you know, you should never put flyaway to 1 anyway, it's dumb. But I'm wondering how this result differs from if I was to go in and actually create a proper expression. Because if you don't know, the flyaway slider is supposed to create strays by not clumping. However, the way it actually does it isn't by turning off the clump node. It's got a very weird thing that it does. So I'm going to create an expression node. And I'm going to plug that into clumping. Clump weight. In this, I'm going to do a so let's say rand value equals hash ID. Seed equals 1. Plus seed. I need to get consistent. Then we just want to do we need a percentage. I always remake this, but I guess it's good practice. Equals, let's just go 50. And then we just want to check if rand value u is less than or equal to wait, do I want this to be percentage strays or percentage clumped? I guess percentage clumped. So greater than or equal to no, actually opposite. less than or equal to. Percentage divided by 100. 1, 0. So now as I change this percentage slider, we get more or less hairs affected by the clumps. So I can link that up to a noise, basically. In which case, actually, I would probably want... how do I want to do this? I guess I could multiply the whole thing. I'm trying to think how this will work best. For now, let's set this to 0 and see how much that differs from if we just use flyaway. So let's just quickly store a snapshot. And I'm going to render one of the same patches. So unless they've changed the way flyaway works, these two images should look different. Oh, they might have changed it. So it works now. Sick. Alright, cool. There does seem to be some kind of difference, which there shouldn't be. Maybe it's because at a large scale this is the same as what it used to be. So I also need to link this to the Scraggle. Well, that is kind of interesting in its own way. Okay, so let's get rid of you. So we've got that Scraggle, which I want to plug into the multiplier. Come on. Come on. I hate... There we go. So now, when a hair isn't clumped, it doesn't get the noise as well. Let's see how that looks. I'm wondering if this will give us that kind of Fresnel feel. It slicks it out a little bit. Definitely makes it a little bit cleaner. Basically what I'm trying to do right now is set up a way that I can map areas that are clumped and have it take the breakaway with it at the same time. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so now if we set that to a more middle value, so let's set you to 50. Let's quickly store a snapshot of this guy. So it's 50% clumped in this version. Cool. So should we quickly tweak the lighting to be more like this guy? I also need to check my original ref. See how far I am on colour. Not a million miles away. Granted, the lighting on this guy is different from the lighting on this guy. Why do these feel like they're from the same company? Wait, are they from the same company? I'm gonna see if I can find that otter. Okay. Is that the image? That's the image. Jesus Christ, this website. Huh. So this is the website it takes me to find this guy. But there he is. Okay, so let me just drag that off screen. Is that higher res? I don't think so. That might be helpful though. Oh. These are really helpful. Can I just duplicate this though, quickly? I'm just gonna search Plushie. Jesus, okay, I'm on one of those sites. Let's see how quickly we can do this. No, if they did use to make this duck, at least they don't make it now. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on my other screen. Yeah, I mentioned that Nick sent the real ref earlier. So I'm just trying to get... Second, I really need to... If I bring this back onto this screen, the image that I get on the right when I hover over this is higher resolution. And it's annoying because it is actually good ref for some of those clumps at the bottom of the tail. Or at the base of the tail. So I'm just trying to like kind of absorb how that looks. Because that gives me a target then. This is definitely feeling closer, which is a good sign. So now we need to get some kind of noise in there for the clumping. Because we've got this expression which has percentage, but we can drive that percentage with, well, we can drive that percentage and we can drive that percentage and the clump effect using the same noise. So let's create a noise. Okay, so let's use this guy. And I'm just going to create a quick shader. So that's a debug shader for viewing like roots tip, which is helpful. But we also want one for, so let's create another shader. Shader roots tip. Cool. Let's create another shader node, not on the tail of that. And this guy, we're just going to plug U into the diffuse color. So that's currently based on UVs. Yeah, so I want that to be based on position. Although maybe, no, maybe we want to use those UV seams to our advantage. Yeah, let's use this to our advantage. Okay, so that's obviously too much. Let's use a FBM noise. FBM is clouds noise or fractal, for those who don't know. So change you to be like 35. Nope, too low. 10. $15. 12.5. That feels good to me. So let's change the time. Okay, maybe not. So that's a 1. There we go. So now we can just kind of find a value that works. And I'm going to quickly check the gain on this guy. Oh, hello. That gain just adds more contrast, basically. Cool. So we're going to keep that shader, clump, noise, mask. Bring him back here. And we want to plug this into F0. Come on. Cool. So now we have. Let's just get rid of that. And set this to $F0. So now this noise decides how strong the clumps are. So the white areas will be the most clumped. The black areas will be the least clumped. So now, what if we multiply this whole thing? In fact, we don't need to multiply it, just put F0 here. Aha, okay, we're starting to get something more interesting now. So I can shortcut that. Let's put clump strength. Fuck it, back to percentage. And then let's create one. So I know it seems pointless to put declare F0 twice, but the reason being I want to be able to remap these in a moment. So that's still percentage, that's fine. Let's call this show. So I'm just currently setting myself up to be able to remap these after. What I'm wondering is, do I want to add this noise to a bigger noise to get like extra layers in the fractal? Let's try setting this to a lower number. Let's go like 5, but then increase the gain. It's a lack of narrative that I need to change, isn't it? Let's go 4 octaves. No, I want higher. 8. Just slowly drifting back to my old values, aren't I? That's kind of interesting. We'll need to remap this, I think. But we'll get there. Right, so let's... Oh, crash? No, okay. Give this a moment to do its thing. The eye shader looks awful, so I need to fix that as well. So I feel like we need more areas that are actually clumped. So we're going to start remapping because I don't quite understand the noise well enough to get full control of it. So, it's actually really easy to do that. All we have to do is... Oh, actually, should we... I'm wondering if we should remap that before we take it to here. I think we should. So let's create an expression. And the reason I'm doing this as a separate step is because I want to be able to preview it. And I wouldn't be able to preview it if I don't. So, it's really easy to do though. All I have to do is go $F0, and then I can just put curve. So I'm just going to go 0.3, no 0. Yeah, 0.3. I typed 0.4 a moment ago. And set you to 1. And then let's go 0.7 equals 1. And I'm going to plug you into here. Daisy chaining my expression nodes. Disgusting. This is probably quite an inefficient way of doing it. But in theory, we can now see how this remaps. Yeah, there we go. So now we've got something much more contrasty than we had before. Which actually kind of like it. So I can set this to be more contrasty, with more areas that are white. Or I can set it to be less contrasty, with less areas that are fully white. So let's go back to 0.6, let's see how that looks. And then if we don't quite like the way it currently looks, we can go back to this guy and just change the offset. Until eventually we'll find a noise that we like. Kinda looks good, but not really. So let's I'm beginning to think the noise is actually too big. That's what was on before, isn't it? 10. Now this shouldn't change as much between... Yeah, there we go. So now if I want more black areas, I can go into this and increase that value. In fact, I'm going to make this a bit simpler to work with. Let's say going to set you to be F1. $F1. Set you to be $F2. So this will break. Yep. Oh, fuck, okay. Does that not work? Apparently not. Okay. Back to values. 0.4. 0.7. That's a shame. That might work. And I need to quickly update the iLook dev, because it's pretty poor. It's literally just a flat black shader with perfectly glossy reflections. Then we'll update lighting. So I think I actually need to be a bit more aggressive with what's a white value and what's a black value. So looking at this, most of it is white with little patches of no clumping. Granted, the head's a different story, but I don't know. Yeah, let's be a bit more aggressive with it. So let's say, oh, come on. Set you to be a lower value. Let's go 0.3. And at the same time, set you to be the same amount lower. There we go. Maybe even lower still. That could work. Cool. Let's quickly fix the eyes while we're at it. So, hypershade. Come on, there we go. So if we want to match this, we definitely need some more roughness. And what I'm wondering is, do I want to match the lighting or not? But let's just ignore that for a moment. So we want a nice rough base reflection. Put you there for now. I should probably go higher resolution. Actually, let's just quickly change to perspective. I should absolutely do a render like this. Right, so let's start matching this shader. Shouldn't take too long. if we had a thin film. I kind of want to keep that. There we go. And then let's just set the eye to be not perfect black. There we go. I could add like a clouds layer to kind of help that out a bit, but don't want to add subsurface. Oh, actually, what about a little bit of refraction? Okay, so this is complete nonsense, but what if I made it really transmissive, but gave it a scatter? So that's shade more diffuse, doesn't it? Gives it like almost a blend into the heaviest way to shade a solid ball. That is like not even remotely physically correct. I kind of like it. I could give that a color then. To give it like a... Like, this isn't even slightly what's actually happening, but I kind of like it. I'm adding way too many like hues and stuff, but I do quite enjoy that. I don't like that as much. Let's reduce the depth just a little bit more. So I can feel it's a little bit more solid on the outside. There we go. That feels nicer. It's the dumbest way I've ever shaded an eye. And you can't see it in viewport anymore because it's fucking... Oh shit. This is gonna be fun. So... Yeah, that should be good enough. Let's go to render cam. So now we just need to tweak. So 90.9. There we go. So then we got actually interesting eyes. Nice, never go for the obvious. I never go for the obvious. Like, one of my concerns as being a professional is not making things that make sense. I just like making things that are pretty. Like, granted, this is, again, I cannot stress enough, this is not refraction. This really isn't. That wasn't genuinely how I see it. This is almost entirely diffused, probably a little bit subsurface, and mostly coating with a little bit of roughness on it. But I just like fucking about with shaders. They're a lot of fun to fuck about with. So now I can drag that off the screen. But it gives quite an interesting effect. It has like a very... this is a pixelated version, but it feels like it has more depth to it because of that. So now, do we start matching the lighting from the otter? I think we do. I think we should. So... let's just start a render. And I'm gonna just something like that is a little bit closer to this guy. He also gives us a nice gradient, so I'll keep it. We do have a little bit of brown in here, but I think that's bounce light from the fur. I think in terms of actual colours, we are getting the kind of blue. It's not as much on this side, so I need to kind of calm down the blue light a little bit. And I will add this guy back in, just more subtle than I had him a moment ago. I said more subtle. Okay, so let's set that back to 1 and just step this down. Just so we get this like double reflection, because I think that's quite pretty. Cool. So, save. Do I have the field on? I think I do. Yeah, I do. I can see it there. So the ground is bouncing just a little bit too much, but there's also an element of not being able to avoid that without darkening the way it looks in the scene. Why does mine bounce so much more than the lights around? Or is it a case of my regular shaders being too dark, and so this light, the light is having to be too bright to get them to where they need to be? Because it's not a calibrated scene, it's literally just some fucking rectangle loads. What about the original ref? Can you see reflections in both eyes? Where is it? There it is. You can see reflections in both eyes, because the lighting is more to the side than it is on this guy. Whereas this guy, you can only see reflection in this eye and not this one. And the thing is, this guy, he's photoshopped onto a white background because there's no shadow. Whereas this guy's actually on a physically white set. You can see the edge of it here in his eye reflection. There's the guy with the camera there, and the flash on top of the camera, I guess. Or maybe that's a floodlight above him. It's hard to tell. Whereas this, obviously, it's too low res to see anything. It feels like it's in the same world, though, which is really frustrating. So now it's a case of how much do I want a gun for this or this, or both? Do I want to go for both and figure out a way to seam between them? I don't really like this around the eyes, so I may have to multiply the whole thing by an attribute on the guides, so I can paint that away. Not sure how much I want a gun for that. I really don't like the way he's shading in general. There is something definitely wrong with that fur shader. My fur shader is like too sensitive to light. It's this guy, you can see where he's in shadow, and the color doesn't change that much. Like here he's in shadow, this is bounce light from the ground, but like it doesn't change that much, whereas mine kind of goes to like a sickly green, whereas this just gets darker. So my groom is too sensitive to light. Let's do that guide thing I was talking about a moment ago. Cool. So let's go into attribute paint and add a new attribute. Clump mask. Alright, clump CO1 mask. Cool. Now let's go into here and quickly paint around the eyes to 0. And let's just add a little bit of randomization. Why is that only randomizing some of them? So I need to find out why this is. Some of them just refuse to be randomized. Okay, weird. Anyway, let's paint out the ones. There we go, something like that will do. We'll keep a little bit of tone in there. Cool, so that's CO1 mask, all uppercase. So let's go back into you. And I'm going to go into here. So, God, this is getting messy. attribute on this guy. Create attribute. CO1, CO1, mask, groom, sample groom, CO1, mask, and then we just want to grab you, plug you in here. Cool. So now what we'll find is if we go into this guy, strength is multiplied by I'm gonna put those in brackets. And no, I overuse brackets. I makes it easier for me to understand, basically. So there we go. We've now removed clumping from this area. Oh, something crazy going on here. Holy fuck! What is going on there? Is that coming from this guy? It is. Weird. I guess it's not clamped. Let's clamp it then. Painted mask. Dollar painted mask. Equals CO1 mask, and I'm going to clamp you to between 0 and 1, and then it's going to break. Yep. And then I'm just going to put painted. I hate that it does that all the time. It's fixed now. That's just clamped it. So I'm guessing then that the values have gone above 1, which is not good. So I'm going to quickly fix that in the actual groom. CO1 mask. Why is that not hiding? There we go. Tool settings. I'm going to paint that to 0. Let's get back into the outliner, shadow groom, then let's get into Arnold. The only area that should have changed is here, so I do want to do a close-up render of the eye, just because I found it really funny to look at earlier. I guess it would be helpful to see what the fur is doing up close. So I guess while that goes, let's create a new and once I've done this, I can revisit the fur shader. Definitely a lot more happy with how he looks at the end of this stream than the last one, which is good. So, kill this. We do need to update full scene. While I'm at it, let's select the eye. F8. Okay, so I'm going to need to... Come on. Oh my god. Let's just quickly lock this. And then update full scene. Then we need to model in that seam. So, maybe one of the things I need to do is reduce the shadowing of the hairs. To reduce how much it's kind of going crazy with the... what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck, what is the word I'm looking for? So there's the kind of drastic lighting change that's happening all the time. I feel like if I reduce the shadow opacity, that will help. But that's also a very fake way of doing it. But at the same time, I don't have forever to render, so kind of get away with it at the same time. This is taking its sweet time. It is starting a render, it's just taking long to do it. This is taking a while though. Was that just lying to me? This is the most pointlessly heavy, rendered eye that's ever been put on a teddy. Yeah, it's too simplistic. Need some noise on every hair. I just feel like density still needs to go up. That's why close-up renders are so important. And the key there is close-up renders. Like, you can't just get a viewport for feedback and that sort of stuff, because it's kind of a nightmare. Got a bit here that's clumping. Let's see what the noise is like there. Yeah, I feel like I just need to add a general frizz to every hair now. So let's get another frizz on every single hair. So we got Scraggle 2 there. I'll need to add 2 more Scraggles. One for strays, and one for kind of frizzing things up a little bit. I may need to go in with a higher frequency, a higher CV count on the hairs too. So I'm going to set you to 10 and then turn off maintain length and set you to parametric and set you to length. So now that frizzes every single hair. And the frequency is way too large, but that's the point, is I want every CV to go in a different direction. So now I just need to find a healthy value. So let's go 0.5. So there's like kinks in every hair. And then if I add another scraggle, and this one, I'm going to turn off maintain length as well, because I really don't like maintain length if you can't tell. Space parameter, and then let's add a fair bit of rand. How's it cooking good looking? I don't know who that is, but I'm assuming I know you, so hi. Yeah, life's good. How are you doing? It's 4-axis, I guess. I don't recognize the username, but I can tell by what you've said that I probably know you. So I'm very curious to who you are right now. Let's set this to 0.1. Oh, that's actually too high still. 0.1. Cool. Now let's reduce that a little bit more. It's half it actually. You do. I know I do. I can tell that a stranger wouldn't normally send how's it cooking good looking, especially when I don't stream with a camera on. And also, like, it's just dumb. So there we go. Let's give that a test render, and then we can look into the shader. Give it a guess, you're probably right. Nick. Is it Nick? Intermediate tool. Yeah, he just messaged you on Facebook as well. Fucking bastard. Cool, so let's change to the correct camera. Let's let it do a little refined section here. That's feeling a lot better. I feel like density is still off. I mean, I didn't change it between these two renders, so it probably is what's wrong. I am going to do this as overrides though, not actually change the real density. This feels like a fake fiber, which is good. So let's just get that density pumped up. Do have to autosave. Render, let's double it. Let's be really foolish with our resources. Update full scene. How's it looking now? It's definitely improving. I think deleting my entire groom was definitely the right way to go. And the ref that you sent was really helpful as well. I think, as I was saying to you earlier, like, I think what the problem is with this project is because the original reference is so low res, I kept finding different images online. Every time I found a different image, I liked something else about it, and I'd keep like cherry picking like bits of each one, but that meant that I just never had a clear goal. And I just kind of improvised as I went, which is a really awful way to do anything. Especially with Groom. Like, you want to at least have some idea. It's good to improvise as you go, but design-wise or like target, I don't think you want to improvise too much. So let's see. Was doubling the density too much, or was it good? So I might have a bit too much diffuse on the hair shader. Let's go to the full render cam. He's a heavy boy. I think doubling the density may not have been the way to go. Might need to reduce the width just slightly. In fact, I'll reduce the width a little bit more. Let's go 0.35. So not quite half. Save a scene. Oh, yeah, that's where we ended at the end of the last stream. Really don't like this. And then I need to revisit the shader. I'm gonna play so much squad tonight, it's gonna be great. I need to start a download for Sea of Thieves as well. Nick, when do you want to play Sea of Thieves? I'm an international super spy. Imagine if we could all share processing power to the stream. I feel like that is possible. Like, sent you some more ref on Facebook. But I can't keep mixing ref. Oh yeah, no, the site you sent me, I found it earlier because I was wondering if these guys did any duck plushies that looked close. Stream has a delay. Yeah, so I'm replying to Nick on Facebook right now. He's saying stream has a delay. It always has a delay, there's not really much I can do about it. It's really annoying because I've got it set up so there's no delay, which is technically really awful practice. Because if anything pops up on my screen that shouldn't, I just have to delete the whole stream because there's no time for me to like hide it or like kill the stream before it displays to you guys. There's no built-in stream delay, so if I kill the stream, you guys will see video up until the moment I killed the stream, which is not good. So yeah, I definitely need to get those seams in soon. I'm wondering if I want to add some like fictional seams that weren't in the original, because the original just seems to have a seam that goes under the arms and I guess over the side of the head. But I kind of like the look of a middle seam. Okay, so let's start. So I might have removed a little bit too much clumping around the eyes because this looks kind of ridiculous. But we will see. improving. Let's check this section here. This area is feeling a little bit too, like, crazy. How's the silhouette looking? Do we have enough strays? I think we need more strays. Alright, no, actually that's kind of softening out. I kind of want to make it, like, super fluffy. So let's do that now. Let's go into Yeti. This is a strays network. So I'm just going to transform and add more length variation. And then I'm going to add double the amount. This will likely look crazy, but that's kind of the aim. Maybe strays seem too smooth. Yeah, I mean, there is an element of I've got this guy with depth of field rendering, so some of the strays will get hidden, especially the ones more towards the back of him. You can definitely see some more coming in here. Because I'm currently doing the main strays using just scale, which results in straighter lines. If I wanted to get like really chaotic strays, I could use a scraggle with maintain length turned off, which I do have as well, but there's less of them. I've always quite liked scale strays, to be honest. That's such a weird rendering artifact. These render settings are so bad. So let's just pick a section. So that's really softening the silhouette now. Yeah, that definitely does a better job. Super soft. Oh no, COVID's back. I feel like I should have a small percentage of clumping around the eyes. Also, this area looks pretty bad. I need to fix that. Yeah, I really don't like that. We'll have to fix that in the maps. Either way, it's looking a lot better. I need to end the stream at a reasonable time because I've been working like every night relentlessly now. I don't like doing... I mean, this isn't overtime, but I don't like doing like too much work extra per day. So I guess we should start the end of stream render. In the next stream, we can kind of tweak the shader on the fur, and also what's the word I'm looking for now? God, I'm completely without words today. Tweak the shader on this guy, as well as start adding words and the seam lines on his model. But I'll leave this rendering as the end of stream render. Definitely looking a lot better than it was. Oh, I need to kill that immediately actually because the knife's not visible. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for this stream. Thank you for dropping by, everyone. And I will stream tomorrow because I can't stream on Thursday night, and the deadline for this is Friday. So I'll be streaming tomorrow to get this done, and then probably work quite late off stream just to make sure it's like polished and stuff. And then next stream after that will probably be on the weekend, maybe Monday, and that will be with a new mini project because this is again being handed in on Friday. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Nick, I will download Sea of Thieves, but I probably won't be able to play tonight. And yeah, everyone else, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you at the next stream, hopefully. Bye, guys. Oh, the timing of that music, though.